Hello students, this is Mrs. Carla and we are doing Pre-algebra lesson 3. See Pre-algebra lesson 3 and addition and subtraction word problems. Now, every time I say word problems, everybody goes, whoa now, I don't want to hear anything about word problems, but listen, you guys use words all the time, okay? You are playing words with friends. Good game, I really like it. Although I'm not very good at it. But you use words 24/7. You just don't like to read word problems and think about the equation that you need to use to solve it. That is a skill that comes with practice. All right, so unless you practice word problems, you will never ever love word problems. But I truly love word problems because they're a challenge to me and I enjoy thinking about what is the equation that I need to use. What process am I going to apply? Am I going to add, subtract, multiply, divide? I have to think because it's not sitting right in front of me, and I like to think because I'm trying to keep this brain active. All right, so here are some key words that we will use when we're doing word problems. So let's think about the keywords, and there's more than these, but this is just to start, and we'll think about the process that we would use when we see these words, okay? So, how many more, all right? How many more eggs than oranges? So basically, if you were in a problem and you were given a certain number of eggs and you were given a certain number of oranges, and then you were asked how many more eggs than oranges, what would you do to find how many more? You would take the number of eggs and subtract the number of oranges, wouldn't you? All right, so how many more or how much less will be subtraction. Subtraction problems, okay? Now, if I said, how many did they have together? That would be taking the two quantities and adding them, all right? So that's not tough, okay? If it says, how many in all? That means I'm taking some quantities and I'm putting them together. That is adding them, okay? And how many are left? That would be subtraction, okay? Subtraction. Now, we're going to go through many different types of word problems, but these are specifically addition and subtraction word problems. So as you are looking at the problems that I'm going to put up on the board, I want you to think and look for those key words that are going to tell you, am I subtracting two quantities or am I adding two quantities together? So the next time you see me, there'll be some word problems on this board. All right, so here we are with our first problem. Marie bought a dress for $12.50. She got a great deal, didn't she? Shoes for $9.95. A hat for $4.95. Socks for $1.55 and a jacket for $29.99. How much did she pay for all? And when you look at this problem, what is your key word or words? And right there, for all means we're going to combine all of these payments that she made, all of the money, and we're going to add them together. So here we go. We're going to have $12.50 and we're going to add $9.95 and we're going to add $4.95 and $1.55 and we're about to run out of board here. There we go. So now we're going to add $29.99. Now remember, Did I get them all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 costs, 5 prices. Now remember, when I am adding something that has a decimal in it, numbers with decimals, I must add up, line up my decimals. And money has decimals. So when I go to adding these together, I have my decimals all in a line, and then I have each number has 2 decimal places for cents. So I'm going to have 5 plus 5 is 10, and then 5 and 9 is 14. So when I take the 14 and the 10, I get 24. I'm going to make a little carry right there. And I'm going to add my big numbers first. I tend to do that. So I got a 9, and a 9 is 27. And then I've got 2, so that makes 29. And then I've got a 5 and a 5, which is 10, so that makes 39. So I'm going to put down the 9, and I'm going to come up here, and my decimal falls all the way down here to the bottom. And then I'm going to have here's a 9 and a 1. Anytime you can, make groups of 10. I have a 9 and a 1, and then I've got a 5 and a 4. Well, that's another 9. Okay, so let's think about this. I've got a 5 and a 4, which is a 9, another 9, another 9. All together, that's 27, plus 1 left over is 28. And I carry my little 2 up here, and I've got 2 plus 1 plus 2 more is 5. So all together, she spent $58.94. Okay, but our key here is our for all tells us we're going to add. We'll be back for one more problem in a minute. All right, so here's another problem on our word problems. Mr. Wilson bought a new car for $12,500. He made a down payment of $3,999. How much does he still owe? Okay, well, what he still owes is kind of linked to which one of our keywords. How much does he have left to pay? So here are our keywords right here. Still owe could be another way of saying how much does he have left to pay. So it is a subtraction problem. And we're going to take the amount he owes, and we're going to subtract the amount that he paid to find out how much he still owes. So, I've got 0, take away 9. So I'm going to come over here. This is a good review of your whole number concepts. And when I take 1 away from the 4, that's 400. It is the same thing as 10 tenths. So 10, take away 9. But then I've got to go over here and borrow 1 more. This guy needs something, so I'm not going to use that 10. I'm going to make it a 9 and come over here. So I've got 1. I made my 0 kind of funny, didn't I? 1 0 is 10, take away 9 is 1. And 9 take away 9 is 0. And 4 take away 9 is not going to work, so we have to come over here and take away, make that a 1. 14 take away 9 is 5. And then I can either borrow or just look, hey, I've got an 11 here. 11 take away 3 is 8, okay, because there's nothing else going. Now, I have seen students very laboriously doing this borrowing process, and they end up with marks all over the place. Now, as an old mathematician, I don't think the new way is actually better than the old way. What I'm showing you here is the old way. Now, I'm going to do the same thing the way that they're teaching today in the schools, which I kind of don't like. But I'm going to show it to you because you may be seeing this in your math books. So I'm going to erase this and put 12,500 back in here. Okay, so when you do that, then you're going to say, okay, we're going to borrow or rename the way that the schools are teaching now. This is the way they're doing it. Okay, they're coming over here. They're taking 1 away from here, making it 4, which is the same as the old way. And then they're crossing this out and making it a 10. Instead of putting the 1 right in front of it, they're crossing it out. Well, then they're going to cross this out and make it a 9. And then they're going to not put 1 here. They're going to cross this out and make it a 10. To me, that's an awful lot of unnecessary writing, but if that's the way you like to do it, it is correct. Okay, it is as correct as what I'm doing. However, instead of rewriting a whole 10 and crossing out the 0, when I did it, I just stuck the 1 right at the top left corner, and I did it much faster. I just find this slows students down and doesn't increase understanding at all. So it's however you want to do it, though. This one just winds up having a lot of different marks on it. But 10 take away 9 is 1, 9 take away 9 is 0, 4 take away 9, oops, I got to borrow again. So this one, if we were doing it the new way, they would cross out the 4 and put a 14. Okay, so 14 take away 9 is 5, and then they would do it again here. They would make this a 0, and then they would cross out the 1 and make it an 11. Okay, so 11 take away 3 is 8. So you may do it the new way, which I think is the slow way, or you may do it the old way, which is the way people my age grew up doing it, which is just when you borrow, just tack a little 1 there. Now, remember, this goes back to place value. All right, each place in our system is, as we move to the left, each place is 10 times the place before it. Okay, so that's why we end up taking a 10 away and then making it 10 on the place to the right of it. So both of them work, both of them are correct. I just wanted to show you what they're teaching in the schools today, so that if you're a mom at home trying to help your student and they are coming home from school with this kind of stuff written all over, that's what they're teaching these days. I tutor a lot, and I see that a lot on my students' papers. And I try to show them the old way to do it, and they really like it because it's faster. And they're both correct. All right, so I'm going to come back with another problem shortly. All right, this one is a fun one. 418 birds were in the trees by my house at 7 o'clock p.m. By 8 o'clock, 582 birds were counted. How many more birds flew in between 7 and 8 o'clock? How would you like to do that counting? We can do almost anything in a word problem, can't we? All right, so how would we find that out? We're talking about keywords here. How many more birds flew in? Are we going to add the two numbers together or subtract the two numbers? Okay, these, we're talking about how many more birds flew in between 7 and 8. Okay, we don't want to count the ones that were already there. Okay, so we are going to subtract the two numbers. We have 582 birds at the end of the story problem. So that is 582 birds at the end of the story problem. And at the beginning, the ones we don't want to count was 418. So 418 will be taken away from 582. And when we do that, we get another chance to show our borrowing. We're going to take a 10 away here, and we're going to deposit that 10 to make this 2 a 12. 12 take away 8 is 4. 7, look at the bottom of my board, 7 take away 1 is 6, and 5 take away 1, 4 is 1. So we had 164 birds fly in between 7 and 8. I'll be here with one more problem, and that will be the end of this section. All right, here's the last problem for this lesson. Abby and Susie had 35 items of jewelry together. Susie had 21 items alone. How many does Abby have? So here we are separating the stash, aren't we? We started out with Abby and Susie counting all of their jewelry together, and then Susie counted her items by herself. So this is a subtraction problem, isn't it? We're going to take the 35 items that they had all together. We're going to take away the items that Susie had, and then we will learn that Abby has 14 pieces of jewelry by herself. And that is the end of addition and subtraction. Now, we're going to be doing this a lot. This is not something that's going to go away. I learned it, now it's going to go away. Word problems are life. We're going to have them all of our lives, and we're going to have to decide which operation we're using by keywords. Okay, so when we're looking at this one, even though you have some words like this together, the stash was together, and then Susie's was alone. We're separating Susie's out, and when we're separating something out, that's a subtraction. When we're putting things together, that's an addition. So this is Mrs. Carla, and this is Pre-algebra Lesson 3. Now, if you have enjoyed your first 3 lessons of pre-algebra, I hope that you will go to the website that is listed at the end. And this is my new little company, and I'm going to be putting all of this together for you. And the advertisement video for that is right after this one, and it will tell you how to get to my website to order my math lessons online. And may God bless your day.